أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي واشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. O Lord, bestow upon us goodness, and both in this life and whatever this life points to, and protect us from falsehood. Ameen. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Happy Saturday. Inshallah, everybody's enjoying a nice sunny weather. Alhamdulillah, it's a blessing to be experiencing this. So we will pick up from the rays. And last time we left off at the third ray on page 64. These were explanations on the supplication of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, which is the Joshan al-Kabir. So here our friend Nursi is really breaking it down in terms of how we can actually walk with these experiences and whatever we observe in our lives, and how can we make whatever we conclude to be very much practical, so we can be convinced with the signs that we see here in creation pointing to its creator, and how can we really fulfill the purpose of our existence and help our spirit gain more confidence in whatever this existence points to and whatever we mean from our life journey here. So with this, we will continue today with, I think, the paragraph that we left off last time was just before this statement here. So we'll pick up from there, just checking in if anyone wants to make any comment as far on what has been shared or discussed. Please go ahead and do that.
I think we're good.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So that's wonderful. So bismillah. O most merciful and compassionate, O one most true to his promise, owner of the day of judgment, O most merciful and compassionate, O one most true to his promise, owner of the day of judgment. Through the instruction of your noble messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and the guidance of the All-Wise Qur'an, I have understood that since the choicest result of the universe is life, and the choicest essence of life is spirit, and the choicest of beings with spirits are intelligent beings, and of intelligent beings, the one with the most comprehensive nature is man. And since all the universe is subjugated to life, and since all the universe is subjugated to life and works for life, and living beings are subjugated to beings with spirits, and they are sent to this world for them, and beings with spirits are subjugated to men, and they assist him And since by nature man earnestly love their creator and their creator both loves them, it's a good point. And since by nature man earnestly love their creator and their creator both loves them, and by every means make them love him. And since man's innate capacity and spiritual faculties look for another permanent world and everlasting life, and his heart and intelligence desire eternity with all their strength, and his tongue beseeches his creator for eternity with endless prayers, and his tongue beseeches his creator for eternity with endless prayers, he surely would not offend man who love him greatly and are loved by causing them to die, then not raising them again to life. This is interesting. And while he created them for an eternal love, to make them feel eternal hostility, to do that would not be possible. Men were sent to work in this world in order to live happily in another eternal world and to win that life. This is interesting. Just some pointers about how some of our wonderings are being answered here as well, where clearly if we were to ponder on creation around us and the one that's setting up the stage for us, it's really done with care and love. And everything about me teaches me that this is just not a random act. There's a purpose in it for me to get some training, be educated, seek guidance, because all of this point to something that my human side desires. And I think that's really what's been focused on. The names manifested on man in this brief and fleeting life indicate that man, who will be their mirrors in the eternal realm, will receive their eternal manifestations. So the names manifested on man in this brief and fleeting life indicate that man, who will be their mirrors in the eternal realm, will receive their eternal manifestations. Yes, the true friend of the eternal one should be eternal. The true friend of the eternal one shall be eternal. And the conscious mirror of the enduring one should be enduring. It is understood from sound narrations that the spirits of animals will live eternally. It is understood from sound narrations that the spirits of animals will live eternally, and that certain individual animals, like the hudhud of Solomon, peace be upon him, and his ants, Salis, peace be upon him, she-camel, and the dog of the companions of the cave, will go to the eternal realm with both their spirits and their bodies. This is interesting. What does that mean? And that each species will have a single body that may be utilized from time to time. This is also demanded by wisdom and reality and mercy and dominicality. This is interesting piece here. Let's a little bit go back. And it's, again, people who joined us in, we are on page 64 of the raise. So going over, oh, most merciful and compassionate. Oh, one most true to his promise, owner of the day of judgment. So I think it's even walking us through how we see different qualities here, where the one who's bringing anything of creation into existence is a merciful one, a compassionate one. So we see mercy and compassion because existence happens out of love and mercy. If we think about it, none of us choose to be given existence, and we are preferred to be given existence. So definitely there is mercy and compassion in this. And from here on, oh, one most true to his promise. So within what I experience here, I do come across my human feelings, wish, desire, meaning, understanding of what this existence points to, because nothing here is permanent. We are experiencing transience. And from there, I can conclude that the one who's setting up the stage for me here definitely is conveying a message where there's like a teaching going on. And so in any education system, we can always see that there are some aims and goals within the teaching experience. So definitely the one who's giving existence is also giving some sort of signs, signals, clues, which are like promises pointing to something. And then from there on, you have owner of the day of judgment. So I think connecting it again with everything that I experience here, where I know that this is just like a transient thing, everything is passing by gradually. At first, it may seem slowly. When we are younger, you're like, oh, right, I can't wait to be 18 or 21. And then when you're 21, suddenly you're like, oh no, can we just freeze time? And then like time goes by like that. And then definitely there is an end goal to anything, just like there's an end goal here to things in the universe. But I'll give it a pause right now and see if there's anyone who wants to make any comment.
Can I?
Yes.
Are you using this one or
Yeah,
that
that
one?
one.
Okay, thank you. Now, it seems to be contradictory, the subtitle that we are reading here, because the translation of resurrection is the day of resurrection as the day of judgment. It's not totally wrong, but seems to be contradictory with the title which says most merciful and most compassionate one. If he is most merciful, most compassionate, what do you expect? Rather than judging people, pass. Yeah, here is my mercy endless. That's what we learn from the creation. His mercy is endless. So although the translation is not problematic, but at the same time, if we are not careful, what we understand from judgment, which is commonly used for other purposes, judge decides who deserves what. But you don't expect the judge to be merciful, compassionate. So if judge is merciful, compassionate, the one whose right is transgressed, damaged, will get angry. Sure. You see the contradiction because of the translation. Now, Day of Judgment is best described in the language of the Quran as Maliki Yawmiddin. It means the real owner of the day of Deen. Maliki Yawmiddin, the day of Deen. So we have to question, what is Deen? What is Deen? The real Deen is Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, this kind of things. No. In the Quran, deen particularly means related to resurrection. It's a long subject. If you don't mind, I will speak a bit longer. I hope not 1 hour. So now, in other writings, the author explains this, what deen is, Maliki Yawmiddin is. He says, which really makes sense. What we see here, the creation, as the things are around, and we see people and other creatures, they are wonderful. Sometimes they are disturbing, hurting me, pain, causing pain. But mostly, it's better, really. But at the end, it is transient. Even there is no disturbing event, at the end, my life becomes meaningless. So I keep repeating this phrase. If the equation in mathematics equals to 0, do you mind about the numbers on the left side of the? Yeah. This is plus, this is minus, this is divided, this is the power to square. But at the end of the day, all of them is equal to 0. Now, death turns life into 0. If you see it, see the human beings and the creation of the world from material side only. But this material side is so meaningful. So it speaks to human beings. Human mind says, it is so meaningful. Why? Why is it meaningful? So again, as the author, the same author uses this expression, I sees the page of a book, sees the objects out there, but mind drives the meaning from it and uses it as a sign pointing to the qualities of the source of existence of these things. So what we see here, the qualities are so endless, limitless. Variety of the qualities are uncountable. What does it mean? It means the quality of the author of this book of the universe is absolute. It means limitless, infinite. But we don't see the treatment of infinite here. What we see, a kind of judgment. If you are nice, if you don't contradict your reality, you feel comfortable. If you contradict your reality, you feel disturbed within yourself, as if stabbing yourself. Or if you stab somebody else, still you feel hurt. Now, even if you don't do anything, but you see somebody struggling with a pain or illnesses, you want to help them. If you don't do it, you don't feel comfortable. Now, in this sense, we understand that we have to submit our arrogant attitude, leave it aside, and directed this arrogant attitude to see the meaning manifested in the universe, in the things. When you see the signs and meanings in the existence of everything, including myself, for example, my human side. When you look at me, you see my body. But if you ask me, are you only body? You say, what are you talking about? Are you just telling me that my life is that meat and blood and bone? I'm a human being, honorable being. You cannot dishonor me. You see the connection now. So we understand from the world and also from ourselves. We can understand that there is meaning. The meaning points to the quality of the creator, the source of existence of the universe. So the source of existence of the universe's quality is not limited in one event, one instant. Everything has multitude of qualities, and all these qualities manifest at the same time almost everywhere. We conclude that his qualities are absolute. It cannot be defined and confined to the limitations of the universe. Now, so far good. What we understood now, the creator of the universe, therefore creator of human beings, is absolute one. We don't see absolute here. I mean, you see the signs, but absolute is not manifesting itself. So the same author says, the author of this book says, in another part of his writing, which really makes sense, these absolute qualities must be available for human mind, human feelings, that another type of creation must be necessarily, must be. There we will see the manifest in that creation, what we concluded from here, that his qualities are manifested, but this is a kind of interpreting. It needs a second thought or a second action. Eye looks at the universe, but human sight looks at the meaning. For example, eye looks at the book, but human mind, human sight looks at reads the meaning. Eye doesn't really catch the meaning. Eye only catches the signs of, not the signs, the shapes of the black thing on the page, if it is black. Now, this human side wants to communicate with the absolute one without going through two stages, but directly manifesting itself. This is called resurrection, because another type of creation must exist in order to justify the reality of the creator. Otherwise, I am always deprived of it. I cannot experience his perfect qualities, absolute qualities without any limitations. So you can read this one now. Oh, merciful and compassionate. Oh, one most true to his promise. Why? He manifested himself and introduced himself as the infinite being. So through this manifestation, he is promising that I am such a being. So your human side will experience my reality. Now, owner of the day of the manifestation of the absolute qualities of the creator, to be obvious for human being without, I don't need to interpret, and sometimes I may forget, sometimes I may fall into mistakes and then say that the things are happening by themselves. For example, if you ask yourself, since this morning, here is afternoon, so since this morning, how many times you realize that every moment you are being introduced to this absolute being's manifestations of the absolute being's qualities? I don't realize it. I don't really remember. Only when I am praying or something, maybe, or that maybe, no. Or this maybe. So I want to see his manifestation. That's my desire, without any obstacle for me. That is called hereafter. next creation. That's called resurrection. There you will say easily, you are the most merciful one, you are the most compassionate one, and you keep your promise. I'm pleased with you now. I am always in your presence. Right? That is what we have to understand from this word of Day of Judgment. But of course, the justification for the Day of Judgment is also correct. Why? If you don't acknowledge that the universe has an absolute creator, instead say, I exist by myself and I'm going to die and finish. My life will be nothing, pointless. Then how can I ask in that second creation, please, the creator, introduce yourself to me? You didn't accept. That's why we keep saying this word is a word of training. We are being educated. We are in an educational institution. The universe is a school. These are very fundamental concepts to me. This universe is a school. If you study, you pass. You get the degree, you educate yourself. But if you don't study, you fail. It means you don't know how the school administration is going to issue a degree for you, demonstrating that you are qualified. I mean, it will be a lie, and no one likes lie, right? In that sense, when the newness creation displayed, and we found ourselves in new creation, we will face our own reality we reached in this world. In this sense, it is judgment, Day of Judgment. But we have to establish first and then come to the judgment side of it. If you present judgment directly and only, it will not give the correct information. But of course, I'm not criticizing the translation, but of course, we have to be careful when you say most merciful, the owner of the Day of Judgment, it seems to be contradicting. But why? Where I should say Day of Judgment, where I should say, yes, you are the most merciful. If you acknowledge it, you will face with it. That's what you are going to give the degree according to your acknowledgement. That makes sense to me. That's why I said we have to pay attention to this kind of translations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This is a very good point. Even to making this kind of connection, definitely, because we do see mercy and compassion, but where does mercy and compassion falls in when I see my reality here with transience that I'm faced with? So what kind of judgment is that, where I'm being treated mercifully, compassionately, and suddenly I'll be taken out from here? We're not talking about that kind of judgment. Rather, we're talking about the judgment in terms of me connecting the consequence of my actions to an absolute source. So that's the kind of judgment, I think, that Brother Ali emphasized on a little bit, because that's what we will face with as far as the reality is concerned. But I see, does anybody want to add anything? Did you want to add anything? It seemed like.
Yeah, I was going to say that last sentence on the first paragraph that you read.
Yeah.
The names manifested on man in this brief and fleeting life. It has a meaning, so it indicates that man. So who will be their mirrors. So the man will become the mirrors. Those names will become the mirrors for man in the eternal realm. Right? Who will be their mirrors in the eternal realm, will receive their eternal manifestations. So man will receive those. So all those names, every quality that you are enjoying in this life, basically are accounted for. And as a consequence, that is what the deen would constitute.
Mm. Good point. So all the qualities that I experience here, that's what the
Yeah, I was wondering about that last sentence, and kind of Brother Lee's comment geared me towards that particular understanding. That so all these enjoyments in life, all these are the manifestations that I need to recognize and acknowledge. This last sentence, the names and manifestations and markers of man. So the same names, all those names, as much as I grasp, as much as I reflect, are reflected back in whatever realm I'm in.
Oh, this is interesting. Wait a minute. If all the names are reflected back in whatever realm I'm in. So this is the realm we're in right now. So that name will be reflected back. Okay. In another realm.
Because we recognize that in this. This is like the training ground for recognizing all those names.
Good point. Thank you. Any other comments from anyone? Okay. So let me see. Last piece. I think this also goes back to whatever is accompanying you in this journey, anything that you come across. So like it's saying about the narration, the ants, the hudhud, the dog of the companions of the cave. So any of these things manifest certain qualities, and if I'm able to acknowledge and recognize the owner of these, so they go along my acknowledgement, it's reflected back anywhere. So I'm not sure if anyone wants to make a little comment on this little piece here. Considering that each species will have a single body that may be utilized from time to time.
Totally.
Yeah. This also demanded by wisdom and reality and mercy and dominicality. So yeah, I think definitely you brought up a good point also, Asim, that whatever quality that I experience here gets reflected back to me. So obviously it's through connecting with all these creatures that I think traditionally it's known, like a she-camel or the dog of the companion. So we can apply it practically in our lives, anything that we interact with. It goes along. The connection is there to an eternal realm with both spirit and bodies, and each species will have a single body that may be utilized from time to time. I'm not sure what that points to, but sort of got a general idea. This is also demanded by wisdom and reality and mercy and dominicality. Okay.
Human beings are conscious mirrors.
Conscious mirrors, yeah.
So it means I can darken my mirror, close my mirror. I can choose. And if the truth is that, let's say, a real object is out there, I am the mirror, but I'm a conscious mirror.
Yeah.
I have a free will. If I close myself, not to let that object, real object there, manifest in me, I have nothing. Nothing to reflect.
Yeah.
Nothing to show. It means I am denying the truth, reality. That's why there, really in the eternal realm, in the next creation, and we will receive their eternal manifestations, but
Conscious
who's in my mirror? I will receive the real objects, eternal, infinite manifestations in my mirror, but I have nothing in my mirror.
That's a good point.
That's a very disappointing. Huh? So, okay, the real object manifests itself in the eternal form because I didn't have any. So that it will become eternal.
Clean the mirrors.
Yeah, it is important for us to make it. It's a great point, actually. I really enjoy it. Alhamdulillah, it's a very good point to share. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Excellent point indeed. Because, yeah, everything is a reflection to what I have within me and what is manifested out there, what is manifested in my being. And so if I am able to make this connection of the qualities that I see here, then definitely there will be something reflected on my mirror eternally. And I see that Asifa, you have your hand up. Go ahead, please, Asifa.
Assalamu alaikum. So far I'm confused in terms of like mirror and reflection. So being this a transient world, it's still not too clear. So basically like a reflection in a mirror through my eyes. Whether I shut my eyes down, basically, I'm not gonna reflect anything yet. Even if I have my eyes open and the reflection is there, it's not like this is what I understood, but I'm still confused in my own understanding. Like, is that reflection surreal? Like, is it the reflection itself is also transient? I do understand that, but it's like surreal, just because in the eternal life that would be more realistic. I don't know if my question makes sense, but if you can kind of give like an link to the eternal life and link to this world. Thank you. And I also joined late. I'm sorry, maybe I have missed some points.
Jazakallah khair, Asifa, for your comment. I think that was my wonder as well. And no, alhamdulillah, we sort of understood what you're saying. So you're trying to make the connection between what I experience right now and what this universe points to. I mean, what is it, for example, being reflected in my mirror, and how does whatever is being reflected will be like an eternal has an eternal consequence to it. So that was one part of it. I was wondering about that too. And the second point about the mirror analogy, we're saying that regardless of whether my eyes are open or not, so obviously if they're closed, then I'm not receiving the sunlight. But if I open them, I am receiving sunlight. But then while it's open, whatever I capture also makes a difference. So while my eyes are open and I'm able to capture something, certain qualities, then this is what I capture. That's what's gonna be reflected in the mirror. But if my eyes are open, like you were saying, and if I don't capture anything, they're open. I'm like, yeah, I see sunlight, but like I'm not doing anything in terms of, yeah, there's this quality of compassion or something is pointing to its creator or something. If I don't capture that, then obviously it's gonna be nothing in there.
Mirror is not
But
capturing this.
Yeah. Mirror is not capturing. Yeah, so mirror is there, but it's not capturing what it's supposed to capture. It's just capturing something, like she was saying, at a surreal
so the
level.
qualities are always manifesting. It's a matter of me having my mirror open or my receptors open to reflect those, to act as the mirror. So the onus is on me. And of course, that's the whole training in this area, in this life. that all those signals that are coming to me, how much do I take them? How much do I absorb them? How much do I reflect them? That's what constitutes, my living in this world. And those, everything that I'm experiencing here are definitely real, right? We experience them. We get happy, we get sad, we get excited. All those trigger some things, emotions and feelings within us. So they are definitely signs of communicating with us, but who is the actual source that is communicating with us? So that's where the mirror is the analogy of how human beings, when they wonder about themselves, they see that whatever they have, their whole being, does not belong to them. But they see the signs that are coming from their owner. So that's how the one becomes a mirror. That, hey, I don't own anything, but all those things are given to me. So all the qualities, everything that I have, my eyesight, my intelligence, my reasoning, all those are nothing but manifestations of the true owner of those things.
Good point. Thank you. Yeah, that's so I think the mirror analogy's gotta be used in terms of what I capture, pretty much, because I can be observing the universe but not making any kind of connection. Like, what does everything point to? So that's one place where I'll use the mirror analogy, something that helps me utilize this universe for an eternal aspect of it. And then the other piece is also about, like everything. It's like a coin having two sides. So there are definitely two aspects to things. So, at first glance, whatever may seem real, yeah, that's reality. I'm experiencing it. I'm experiencing sunlight, but what does it mean? What does it point to? So like every senses that I'm using, power to hear, power to taste, sense of smell, everything. Is it just for the sake of it, or does it point to something? So, alhamdulillah, let me see if anyone wants to add anything, or I don't know, Asif, if we were able to answer any of your queries.
Or
If you have any follow-up, feel free to add on.
And Jazakallah khair, alhamdulillah, I think it's getting much clearer. And as both of you were explaining, I was also thinking that it's making very much sense. So even with when I was confused with the eyes closed and the eyes open, but yet somebody who might not have the gift of eyesight, perhaps is blind, he may not be able to see something, yet he can utilize the other senses that he has been given, sense of touch, sense of hearing, sense of feeling, any of those. It's really up to him, using his free will, how he puts the connection between those manifestations and where it's coming from to a source of existence. So far, this is how I grasp it. Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Very helpful comments. Going deeper into the different senses we are given. Yeah, I agree with, if we were to count all of them, it's really endless and priceless. So the basic ones we use are apparent, just like you mentioned, power to see. But like, how do you explain this? Really, how do you explain the ability to see? What does it mean to actually really be on the go of utilizing these tools without making a connection? So I think here the mirror's gotta be able to capture everything that it points to. Alhamdulillah, thank you. Any other comments from anyone? All right. If not, then let's move on with the next piece here. O all-powerful, self-subsistent one. O all-powerful, self-subsistent one. All living creatures, beings with spirits, and conscious beings are subjugated to the commands of your dominicality and employed in their innate duties only through your power and strength. All living creatures, beings with spirits, and conscious beings are subjugated to the commands of your dominicality and employed in their innate duties only through your power and strength. And employed in their innate duties, innate duties only through your power and strength. Your will and planning, and your mercy and wisdom. Your mercy and wisdom. Some have been subjugated to man, not because of man's power and dominance, but by divine mercy because of his innate weakness and impotence. Through the tongues of both disposition and speech, they absolve their maker and true object of worship. Through the tongues of both disposition and speech, they absolve their maker and true object of worship of all defect and partner, and offering thanks and praise for his bounties, perform the worship particular to them, and offering thanks and praise for his bounties. Perform the worship particular to them. So interesting about powerful and self-subsistent one. So anything that's given consciousness is given some sort of innate duties. Innate duties, I think, goes back to what does the mirror capture? Because we have to make that connection and acknowledgement. Otherwise, I think the conscious human being is not fulfilling the purpose of their existence. So if I'm not able to see who's giving me this power of sight, I definitely enjoy it. I'm able to make use of it. So it's serving a purpose. So thank you to the one who's employing it. And so my innate duty is just really to acknowledge this and respond back that, thank you for providing this. And so some have been subjugated to man, not because, so they are given to us, like we use them, not because I'm powerful. Yes, I'm using all my tools, I'm utilizing my, different senses, abilities to speak, or anything, ability to taste or whatever we can name it. But it's given because we're weak and needy individuals in the first place. So we don't ask, first of all, to be given existence, to be created. So now we're given existence, everything is given to us. The power to smell, sense of seeing, everything is given to us, just because we are in need of all of that. So that's how divine mercy is coming into play here. Divine mercy is being reflected here. Now, through the tongues of both disposition and speech, they absolve their maker and true object of worship of all defect and partner. And, so the only innate duty for the human being then becomes to acknowledge whatever is given, offering thanks, and really praising the one that gives all these bounties. And really, I think that's the only duty that I think we can do here. The innate part is really to be thankful. So that's just, immediate takeaways, but let's see if you want to add anything. No, if not, then no worries. We can
just thinking about how this is like a supplication topic.
Yeah.
So this supplication, as the author is sharing, oh, all-powerful, self-subsistent one. And how do we realize that? Oh, all-powerful, self-subsistent one. So, and can it become my supplication as well? This is how, at least, I'm kind of trying to read this particular piece. Can I make this my supplication? And how can I declare, oh, when I connect with my Lord, oh, all-powerful, self-subsistent one, what does it mean that he is the self-subsistent one? And I think it gives a brief indication of, you have to realize who you are, that everything that you do doesn't belong to you. You are a needy person. You are in need of being given existence. You think you made yourself happy, or this thing made you happy, but no, it was a divine plan, somebody else, your source, that made you happy. So then I say, yeah, all-powerful, self-subsistent one, after experiencing and recognizing these, then it becomes part of my supplication as well.
That's true. Thank you for bringing it to our practical life as well. Any other comments from anyone? All right, if no more comments, then we should definitely move on to the next piece if nobody has anything to say. All right. Oh, most pure and holy one. Oh, most pure and holy one, hidden in the intensity of his manifestation. Hidden in the intensity of his manifestation and concealed within the magnificence of his grandeur. Hidden in the intensity of his manifestation and concealed within the magnificence of his grandeur. Forming the intention, I sanctify you with the glorifications of all beings with spirits. Forming the intention, I sanctify you with the glorifications of all beings with spirits. And declare, glory be to you who has made from water all living things. Glory be to you who has made from water all living things. So that was the only piece with that.
Supplication.
This one, there's a little footnote. Yeah, Quran chapter 21, verse 30. Let's check out what that is. Let me see. Quran 21, 30. Okay, so this is do the disbelievers not realize that the heavens and earth were once one mass? Then we split them apart, and we created from water every living thing, will they not then believe? I think pointing to how everything just comes into existence from, if we take soil and water, I have different things coming in. So don't I reflect on the creation of it? So O most pure and holy one, hidden in the intensity of his manifestation. I think we a little bit touched upon this last time. Intensity points to the capacity of how this universe definitely I can go on discovering the order. There's no end to it, but as far as my human capacity is concerned, this universe does not help address the need of my human capacity. And therefore, the human spirit can quickly realize that I'm not made for this universe, but I'm made to use this universe to really see the hidden qualities that are manifested or concealed within the things. And so my human capacity extend beyond the capacity of this universe. So I don't know if that made any sense, but that was, I think, a good highlight from last time. I'm just going to check in to see if anybody wants to add anything. Alrighty. So then let's move on, inshallah. Next piece here. Oh,
Do you see any connection between the most pure and holy one and the verse from the Quran, sentence from the Quran? Glory be to you who has made from water all living things. Do you see any connection with the verse and the subject? Can you just emphasize
sure.
that?
So the connection, I think, that is being made here about most pure and most holy is that whatever I see in creation is free of defect in terms of how everything is coming into existence. So the order that we see is happening seamlessly without any interruption. And so whoever's setting it up is free from any sort of imperfection that I may ascribe to a myself or a created thing. So maybe in that regards, I could see that the one that's bringing existence is pure and holy, like in regards to its grandeur or the ability to give existence.
It is clearly manifested in this way of creation. For example, water is a very simple being, creature or being, and wherever it goes, it reaches the water.
Fine.
You see that millions of different creatures are created out of one substance. In fact, in this world, it seems to be, without water, there is no life. Without life, there is no variety of species. But there, his grandeur, his greatness is manifesting obviously as if declaring to human mind, to human consciousness that, look, is there any way for you at all to explain 1 million different kinds of living species? Leave it earlier on, they say from millions actually, species, different kinds of, created out of one substance, very simple substance, or came into existence once. Who is doing that? Who can you imagine the one who is performing this act as something not really holy and pure. It means pure means you can really, pure means you cannot really associate this being, anything with this being, saying that this being and something else is associated to it. Means he needs he needs something else, somebody else, in order to realize, in order to execute his greatness.
That's interesting.
So that is pure.
Yeah.
I mean, pure doesn't mean that cleaned from the dirt. Yeah, for the creator, there is no dirt, which means no blemish, no blemish whatsoever. Yeah, no blemish in his greatness. No, it is absolute.
Yeah.
I mean, absolute.
Cannot be attributed anything else.
If you divide some numbers from absolute, does it lose any value? No. It doesn't become a less absolute. That is a logical thing that we can understand easily. So pure means you cannot put any blame, any limitation, anything on his side, as we see how the creation is, how the beings are coming into existence. It means the one who causes them to exist must be a holy one, hidden behind his absoluteness, so that absoluteness cannot really itself, manifestation is okay, but itself fit into the capacity of this universe. It is limitlessly beyond the capacity of this universe. That's why we call it holy. Holy means also somehow pure in this sense.
As far as we cannot attribute.
No shortcoming.
Sure. Yeah, we cannot compare it to anything of this universe. It cannot be compared to anything of this universe.
Okay, impossible.
Yeah.
We have to go beyond.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Any other points from anyone? Right. So in this case, let's move on to the next piece. O sustainer of all the worlds, O God of the first comers and the last comers, O sustainer of the heavens and the earth, O sustainer of all the worlds, O God of the first comers and the last comers, O sustainer of the heavens and the earth. It's interesting, just before jumping into the deeper meaning of this, I think what we see in creation as the sequence of an order, like, oh, first and this is last, but like it's all pointing to the one that sustains the whole universe. So let's see what the author says here. Through the instruction of your noble messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and the teaching of the All-Wise Qur'an, I have understood and believed that just as the heavens, atmosphere, earth, land, and sea, trees, plants, and animals, together with all their members, parts, and particles, know and recognize you and point to and testify to your existence and unity, so too living beings, the essence of the universe, and man, the essence of living creatures, so too living beings that are the essence of the universe, and man, the essence of living creatures, and the prophets, saints, and purified scholars, the essence of man, and through their visions, unfolding inspirations and the discoveries of their hearts and intellects, which form the essence of the prophets, saints, and purified scholars, testify with the certainty of 100-fold consensus to your necessary existence, unity, and oneness, and give news of them. which from the essence of the prophets, saints, and purified souls testifies with the certainty of 100-fold consensus to your necessary existence, unity, and oneness, and give news of them, and through their miracles, wonder working, and certain proofs, prove what they tell of. It's interesting. And through their miracles, wonder working, and certain proofs, prove what they tell of. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's very obvious. Whatever we observe is being told by the envoys of the creator of the universe. It's, it's very vivid to my human side, if and only if I pay close attention to what's happening. So let me see how long this. Yes, there is nothing that occurs to the heart. Stop. Should we can go. So yes, there is nothing that occurs to the heart which looks to one who inspires it from behind the veil of the unseen. Yes, there's nothing that occurs to the heart which looks to one who inspires it from behind the veil of the unseen. This is an interesting point. So everything that happens to me, it's just not a haphazard happening. It's something. It's speaking to me. It's being inspired. The heart is being inspired. And there's no inspiration which makes one look to the giver of inspiration. And there's no certain belief which discloses in the form of absolute certainty your sacred attributes and most beautiful names. And there's no luminous heart of the prophets and saints. There's no luminous heart of the prophets and saints which observes with the vision of certainty the lights of the necessary existence. And there is no enlightened intellect of the purified scholars and veracious ones. And there's no enlightened intellect of the purified scholars and veracious ones, which confirms and proves with the knowledge of certainty the signs of the existence of the creator of all things and the proofs of his unity. The signs of the existence of the creator of all things and the proofs of his unity. There's not one of these that does not testify to your necessary existence and sacred attributes and your unity, oneness, and most beautiful names, and point to them and indicate them. This is interesting. Like, and everything that we come across definitely is a pointer to the source of my existence, or is everything points to this absolute being, from the inspiration of the heart to one's feeling, to how the message is disseminated to me in the form of guidance through prophets. It's interesting that it's pointing. Definitely, it speaks to me. It's pointing to my human side, and who's the speaker is. I think is really the focus area here. It's not that some saint is speaking to me or some prophet. No, it's the creator of the universe is speaking to me through means, or even anything that I'm reading, like maybe a text like this one. Also, all of us we're interacting with what this author is also presenting to us. So that's it definitely speaks to us in terms of the signs that we see manifested around us. And everything, if we were to pick all these different resources where something is being conveyed to us, then these are signs pointing to the necessary absolute one. So the educator of the universe, the trainer of the universe, the one that gives guidance. And it's interesting how one can be also satisfied in their human side, because the heart at the end of the day is what needs satisfaction. So if you know that you're being spoken to on an individual level through various means, then alhamdulillah, I would say, what else do you want? So O sustainer of all the worlds, is speaking to everything. O God of the first comers and the last comers, O sustainer of the heavens and the earth. So it's speaking to anything in creation out there, but if only I'm open to listening to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sila.
Sure, yeah.
The phrase, "Oh God of the first comers and the last comers," have you thought about it? What talking about?
Yeah.
Why first comers and last comers? I mean, first comers and last comers is the literal translation of the Arabic word, the names of God, which is Al-Awwal and Akhir. Now, this translation, we have to understand what they mean.
Okay.
Otherwise, the first comers, last comers, what does it mean? That those who are late or somebody didn't come to the class in time or something like that? No. It means in every act of creation, we see that it has a background and it is an extension following it. And the one who gives existence to, the very simple thing is, to a living being. We look at the tree, it is a background coming from the previous seeds of the previous trees. And also it is coming into existence in such a way that it gives fruit. It means pointing to the future acts of creation. So the sustainer one, the one who sustains the universe, the things right now as we experience them, as we observe them, they have a background of it, and they have a future of that thing. So who is able to do that? Which kind of quality is needed to give existence to things with their background is preserved and manifested as well, and also who is future is guaranteed and preserved as well in the creation of coming into existence of every single being. If we see one animal, that's enough for you. It is a background, it is a future. It is going to reproduce. With this ability, it is given existence. What does it mean? The one who gives existence, who causes to come into existence, cannot be an unconscious one. Cannot be a thing which doesn't have any knowledge, any wisdom, any planning, any quality of providing what this being has in its potentiality, in its qualities, among its qualities. That's why I think we have to understand that this Awwal and Akhir has two aspects. The way the things are coming into existence demonstrates that the cause of existence of the things must know the past perfectly and must know the future again perfectly, so that gives existence to the present moment of the existence of an animal. A cat, for example, demonstrates that if a thing doesn't have the power to expand its quality to the past and the present, of course, and the future of the thing, and preserve these qualities in every moment of its existence. Only the one who is really absolute one. That's why the sustainer of all the worlds, only the one who can do it.
This is interesting.
He is that's what we have to bear in mind. And that is an important point that we forget. Who gave existence to the tree? No. Who gave existence? The ancestors of this tree going back to 60 million years. It is preserved. And who is going to guarantee the existence of the future generations?
That's a good point.
It is preserved here as well. That is just a miraculous way of creating it.
Yeah.
This is one aspect of this awwal and akhir in the language of the Quran. I don't know why they didn't give the reference to the verse. Huwa al-awwal wal-akhir wal-zahir wal-batin. It's a beautiful verse quoting and teaching us the qualities, attributes, which is the word used in the Quran, names. It was qualities of the Creator. So the qualities of the Creator demonstrating itself, and also that is in the creation, but also he is reminding that the previous generations also received their envoys, their messengers from this Creator, and the Creator of the message that we are now interacting with must be the one who sent and employed the messengers and envoys with the same message throughout the human history in the past. And also he is not going to leave human beings without any envoy, without any message.
I see.
That is the practical side of my life now. The one who performs this existence must be the one who is providing the messages in the previous generations, and he will definitely do this because he has the power to do it. He manifested it in front of my eyes. So in the future, he is taking care of me. He is taking care of human beings. He is taking care of our needs from the beginning to the end of humanity, if you like. That is the one, all the people who worship, that we believe in God and we worship, that they are called the saints, as he says, purified scholars, and their hearts, their intellect, we have to join them. We have to join them. Yeah, that's an invitation. That's a beautiful way of understanding the correlation between how the things are coming into existence and how the Creator is taking care of human need, which we need reminders. And the reminders also will be taken care of by the one who is taking care of the past and taking care of the future and preserving it in the present day creation and guaranteeing that he has this quality. Don't worry about it. What will happen to next generations? He will be taking it. The needs of the next generation also will be definitely taken care of by the Creator of today's world, as I witness it. It makes sense that we believe in God in such a way that is absolute in every respect. It really makes sense according to my human capacity, to my needs of my heart, needs of my intellect is guaranteed that they are going to be fulfilled. Okay?
The very good points. I would say that the need of every generation will be met. So even as a parent, I may be worried about, oh, my child is going to be a teenager, that's going to be a struggle. No, the one that's giving existence will take care of. So what am I worried about? Let me just be worried about what's given right now and then.
It is future is guaranteed.
Yeah.
My children, my great children, etc. But I worry only about their financial side of it, health side of it.
Yeah.
But God worries about his financial side of it, his bodily needs, as well as his spiritual needs and his intellectual needs. So we should worry about whether my children will pay attention to it or not. It will be definitely available, but that is up to them. They are free as long as they reach the age of adulthood. That is up to them. We have to worry about our children, not the care of God. God's care is guaranteed. Don't worry.
Okay, so the divine decree is guaranteed, but I need to worry about what can I
My
plan.
free will. How can I use it? How can I utilize it? Whether I will turn blind to it, I won't take it. Not so, we don't know, but it will be present there.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So obviously, the responsibility part from me, I do as much as I can on my end with the free will, and it doesn't. And the rest, like definitely, there's a decree to it. Thank you, Jazakallah khair. This was very, alhamdulillah, beneficial. And I know, Adam, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for
Assalamu
the wait.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Actually, my question isn't that particular to the text. I'm just trying to understand why these pieces here are bolded. If someone can share what the significance of the bolding is, I don't know why I didn't notice this before. I'm trying to find in a text where it has this bold and why, but if someone can help me quickly to understand. And then also, is there anything in this first coming, last coming? Okay, so first of all, let me just stop there. On the bold issue. Any comments from anyone?
Thank you, Brother Adam, for bringing this up. So I was also wondering, why did the author bold the prophets, saints, purified scholars, hearts, and intellects? What's the connection in doing this? I don't know. I mean, I can share my immediate takeaway, but let's see what others have to say. So I think these are different forms of means through which we get guidance. So I can start with myself, the inspiration, the heart. As a human being, I experience things, I feel things. Things get signaled to me. Yes, this is right, this is wrong. And at the same time, we need additional guidance, which is provided by either the prophetic lineage, like the prophets, saints, purified scholars. It could be intellects as well. So there are various means. So these are like the means that I can connect to. So if I'm reading about a prophetic teaching, it's speaking to my heart and intellect. So in that way, I cannot separate it out, but it's like a medium through which I get a message. But that was just my takeaway. But let's see if anybody wants to share why these are bolded.
Yeah. I mean, the prophetic message addresses to my human side, my consciousness, my intelligence, my heart, my spiritual side. Prophetic message doesn't say really how to do business, although prophetic message emphasizes on the importance of moral values in business. That is understandable. Yes, because moral values are related to my heart, but physical actions themselves are concerned. I can learn it from the universe. So the importance of the relationship between what I derive from the creation, the way the things come into existence, including the past and future of it, included in the present existence, speaks to my intellect. So that is what I need. So, but how about human beings have free will? Intellect may choose this way or that way because I have the free will. My feelings may be shut down by my choice. I may not use them. I may not use them in the right way, wrong way. So I need guidance there. That is why prophets, the messengers, must come up with guiding help to help human beings. But for example, in this century, there is no physical existence of the animal. How are we going to reach the prophetic message? Definitely, there must be some means which are transferring this message generation by generation. They are called scholars. They are called saints. It means those people who sincerely follow the message and present us, saints present us, not necessarily the knowledge side of it, but how human beings, human feelings, human behavior shaped under the guidance of the prophetic teaching, which is God's guidance. So they are the physical experiences of it, the real sheikh, real saints. But those people now, everybody claims to be the sheikh and then tries to impose their force on other people. That is not the way of being saint. The being saint is a living example of the prophetic message. Now, doesn't say do anything, just presents his life as the living example. Now, if the people come and ask them, of course, they will share what makes them happy, what makes them consistent in their existence. Now, scholars, on the other hand, whether they present it in their present life or not, but they transfer the information side of it. So explanation, logical explanation, intellectual explanation of this message by adapting this message to the requirements of the age I am living in, so that the living example of the prophet, a prophet, must be available for me in the form of knowledge as well as practical example. Both of them makes what? The representation of the prophetic mission. As if we can say prophet is presented from one side by saints, from another side by scholars. That is why we have to see the correlation between how my heart and my intellect also, heart and intellect also printed in bold. Why? Heart looks to saints and intellect to scholarship, and both of them makes prophets, exemplary prophetic mission available for my life.
Sure.
So we have to look for them, search for them, try to benefit from them.
Inshallah.
Now, it is a very interesting correlation between heart, intellect, and
saints and scholars.
Saints and scholars. But all this makes the prophetic presence of the prophetic message in front of my eyes and available to me. But I have to look for it. For example, if you want to learn, I don't know, how to become a programmer, for example, what do? You look for the education institution. Look for the one who knows it. For example, if you look, whereas nowadays it is not the very common trend among, including myself, among people, look the best example of human life. Unfortunately, we look for knowledge, but we don't look for best example of human life, enlightened, guided by the messenger's message, which is the guidance of my God. we may search for information, but we may, usually I really fail to look for the physical example. The prophet, what the prophet's mission is based on, the mission is based on two things. Conveying the message, but at the same time,
Practicing it as well.
representing the message in his practical life.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
You don't find
Where's
it.
that practical side of this day and age?
Exactly. That's what I was going to
I
ask.
have to look for it. There must be.
There must be.
There must be. So
The-
we don't look for it.
Okay.
Because you can ask yourself. I asked myself as soon as I looked at it,
Yeah.
who is my saint?
Exactly.
Huh? Who will who will enlighten my heart,
Yeah.
my practical life?
Who will awaken my intellect, my heart?
Now, represented in the form of a human being presenting to me. We have.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
No worries. Go ahead, Adam.
So why are these mutually exclusive entities, saints and scholars? For example, when I look for a saint, what am I looking for? Why is not a scholar embodying saint qualities that it has to be distinct from saint? And
One. Brother Adam, you should be one. So try, why not? We need two
Which
two
one?
representations.
Which one?
Which one I'm asking? Should I be which one, saint or scholar or both, or what? How?
Both.
Why?
Both. We have to look for both. If you find one, including the two sides together, the prophets are under the guidance of God so that they could perform two sides in one body, if you like, in one human being.
Yeah.
But it may be difficult nowadays afterwards, because we have the guidance from God only in the form of transmission. And it may be difficult, but of course, you can read it as you look for a scholar for your need of intellect, and which same scholar may be a saint in order to meet the
Spiritual.
the needs of your spirit.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it means, don't forget, you should look two
Yeah.
qualities at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't forget, one side and two sides. But if you idealize it, you and I idealize it, then I must find one person to represent both sides of it. Then I have to wait another prophet to be employed, to be sent. But we have to be, flexible. I can learn some education for my heart from somewhere, somebody, and I can have some of from somebody, not fully. It must be, I cannot say it must be in the form of one man only, but what I have to be concerned with, I should be searching, seeking two qualities and try to benefit from them in my personal life and apply it. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
So the two qualities, intellect and the soul or the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is in the
This
form
is-
of,
So look for those scholars. And
yeah. To try to find out here and there. It doesn't have to be one man only. Maybe some from another man, some
so one may
information
be
from another.
specialized in intellect.
Yes.
More,
Yeah. So I think nowadays, especially this materialist age, they are interested in information. It means intellectual satisfaction, but not spiritual satisfaction.
Yeah.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
This is especially the disease of this age is lacking, because of the lack of this search for examples of sainthood, if you like, as it is inherited through the teachings of the prophet's exemplary life. Two what that's called in the Islamic literature, the prophet had two wings.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it is interested in, it is interpreted in different ways, but as far as our subject is concerned, they provide intellectual, the necessary document for intellectual satisfaction, and also they provide for our spiritual education, if you like, moral education at the same time, and one person with two wings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, as far as our subject, it is interpreted in others, related in a different way or related to different subjects. But our subject says, okay, don't forget you need two training at the same time, and look for it.
Makes sense.
Wherever you find, in one man or in 10 people, maybe, take one example from them, take another example from another one. But that is your need. I mean, this text is speaking in terms of practical life. Yep.
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much, Brother Ali. That was good. I know it's 5:45, but sure. Yeah, let's. We can maybe, I don't know, Brother Adam, if you want to.
Yeah, it's getting long and late, but it maybe something it's a little bit burning in me. You know, I can understand from the perspective of saint that the messenger alayhi salatu salam was saint-like. There's a lot of references. Maybe I'm not familiar with all of them, but I know some that are referring to him in his sainthood aspects. But knowledge aspect, or let's say scholarship aspects, I don't easily correlate this with messengership, with the messenger. How?
We don't have time. That's why I interrupted you. What is the Quran doing? What is the sayings of the prophet are doing there, out there? How it is only, he didn't just live in his life, didn't say anything, didn't have an interactive, practical life. And educated people practically, and changed their life through his exemplary life from being a very wild pagans into the most civilized people in 23 years' time. It is impossible. No history record shows this. That the whole people, hundreds of thousands of people, changed their understanding, their lifestyle, and became obedient to the creator of the universe, rather than just aimlessly living in this world.
Yeah.
Pagans live in this world with no purpose. But after the training of the prophet in both sides at the same time, people only not were intellectually enlightened, but also morally in their behavior, in their treatment, everything is changed.
I agree with that part in terms of having the intellectual and the spiritual as well, because if we also look at the educational system, it seems that at first glance, the first few years, it's intellectual, trying to understand things. And after a certain threshold, we reach where you want spiritual satisfaction because the intellectual has grasped the reality of things. So now you need, like, the heart gotta be satisfied as well, along with the intellectual. So something that's proposing to me two aspects at the same time, then I'll definitely subscribe to it, because I don't want like a different intellectual book, like, oh, self-help book, motivational book, oh, I'll just study educational psychology and, you know, this should help me a little bit better with my intellectual. No, like, my intellectual knows, like, what am I, you know, because deep down the heart knows, okay, you know what, this is the reality, but like, how can I amend everything? So yes, I want my heart to be satisfied, but at the same time, something that logically makes sense to me as well. So if someone is proposing that to me, like one coin with two aspects, I'll sign up, you know, like,
no,
where is that?
Sorry, I understand from Adam's question that what we understand from knowledge is the how do you say, our physical relationship with the world, as it is described and explained through secular education. Yes, the prophets are not there to teach it, because secular education, you can learn it yourself, and it's not the point. The point, even in learning the secular education, going through the secular education, which is called so-called information transformation, actually, improvement of the information about how the universe works, is the main purpose of the secular education. But when it comes to what it means for my humanity, how can I be satisfied with this? For example, I can make money through doing some sort of business or some sort of job, and maybe doing farming. I can provide the food for my body, but how can I provide the food for my thought, provide the food for my heart? How can I provide it? That is the mission of the prophet. The rest depends on me, because I can go and train myself. Even I am a pagan, I can learn how to do better farming. It doesn't really relate to my human side. My human side is the main concern that we are looking to be satisfied, which is heart and intellect.
Very true.
Not the how am I going to fill my stomach. That is the concern. For, I can learn it. I don't have to need a separate divine guidance. But while I am providing the provision, trying to gain the provision, in order to satisfy the needs of my stomach, which kind of behavior, which kind of moral values, ethical values I should follow in order to be consistent with my spiritual side as well. That is provided by the prophethood as well. That is nowadays is called the fiqh side of religion. That is also, gives the shape to this side of the teachings of the prophet.
Alhamdulillah.
They are all incomplete. We cannot really neither divide it nor exclude any side of it.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Brother Ali. This is very enlightening. I know we are very tight on time, and I don't want to ignore Farah's comment as well. Question. Farah, I'll read it. So maybe we can all think about it, or maybe if it makes sense. So Farah is saying, how should we view the work of this author? So how should we view the work of Nursi? In other words, I often wonder if these writings are meant to be holistic and complete for one's religious life, intellectual and spiritual. So you wonder, it's a human wondering that whether these writings are meant to be holistic and complete for one's religious life, intellectual and spiritual. So yeah, I think it's a one encompassing package, connecting it back to what Brother Ali says, intellectual and spiritual life, if i.e. you want to call it religious life, it's like something that I follow. This makes sense to me and my heart is satisfied. Then this author is helping us at least walk through it, like telling, hey, pay attention to your existence, to creation around you. How do you make sense of things? And I think that's the way, at least most of us, when we come together here, the way we view the work of this author is like that as well. How can I apply this in my practical life? What are you sharing, Mercy? Like, great, you seem to be like a good man.
This author is interesting. He doesn't neglect neither side of the problem. What we are reading usually is a kind of education for intellectual satisfaction, that belief message from our Creator, which we receive through prophets, really makes sense, and we have to comply with it, confirm it in our life. But at the same time, he has other writings which are full of examples. But we are still having problems with the first side of it, so we don't have time to go to the other side of it. It is how we should behave, how we should put this intellectual satisfaction into our daily practical life. That is, there are lots of publications he has about it, but we don't study for the moment, unfortunately. Inshallah, time will come when we study.
Inshallah.
Let alone, first, let's get over this subject first. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. And Farah, if it's not satisfied, then definitely you can bring it up next time as well. I know we brushed over it, but definitely anyone else, if there's any follow-up question, jot it down and we shall definitely talk about it next time, because definitely we do need to discuss these. There's a need definitely to ponder more over this. And so with this, I really thank everybody for being here. But Adam, I don't know if this is a hand from before, but if it is.
No. Yeah, it's from before. Sorry. Please go ahead and close the meeting.
No problem. Thank you all again. This was very fruitful. It's very much appreciated, all your comments and questions, and please bring them on. It makes the discussion lively. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. بحرمة سر رسولة الفاتحة آمين